Hello, everyone. I'm Jean-Claude BeyondMystic, and welcome to this deep woo-woo episode entitled Quantum Healing with SHERRI DIVBAND. You can find her work at SHERRI DIVBAND here on YouTube and also on her website at intuitivewellnesscenter.com. Let's give her a big, warm welcome back to the show. SHERRI, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Excited to have you back on. Quite a few things have happened since you and I last spoke. Man, it's been quite a ride, I have to say, SHERRI. But in my last interview with you, we had so much great comments. Everybody just absolutely adored you. They are hoping for you to come back. So, folks, here's my promise back to you. I told you she'd come back, so she's here for round two. And we're going to have a live interactive chat with you guys tonight. We're going to try to take some more questions from the audience as we go. Of course, I'll put your comments up as we go. But, folks, please do put them in high caps. It's a little bit easier for SHERRI and I to bring up while we're doing this live stream. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining me. And let's take care of some business here, too. I just realized that I have to subscribe to you again. Having lost my other channel, I have to go do that. So, folks, please do hit that subscribe button also here on SHERRI's YouTube channel. Let me bring that link back down for you guys as well. And if you're watching this on replay, you can click on the description box below, and both her links to her YouTube channel and to her website are there as well for you guys. All right, SHERRI, let's dive into this. You and I were talking here before the show, a lot of crazy stuff happening behind the scenes, and people are choosing, I guess, sides. There's no more standing on the fence anymore, and we're seeing it in our daily lives now, and it's popping up in the weirdest places. So I don't know if you want to start with that or you want to start with the movies, because I know right now, even if it's contrary to what people believe, there are things coming out of Hollywood right now that are actually on the white hat side. Janine and I spoke about this. Do you want to start there with that last movie you saw with the kids? Okay, let's start there. Set this up for the audience.
Yeah, I mean, because this is heavily in my mind. I couldn't even sleep the other night. So I wanted to talk about the newest Black Widow movie. So my kids are huge fans of the whole Marvel franchise. You know, kids love superheroes. And so we're always the first ones to watch everything. I could not believe what I was watching because normally it's a bunch of symbolic gestures and imagery and things like that that we all know and are familiar with and meant to program us. And right away, within the first 15 minutes, I even stopped the movie and I asked my husband if he realized what was happening, because they were, I'm not going to give anything away, but it's basically the reality of our world and what is done to us to program us and how it's done and the methods they use and what happens behind the scenes. And I thought in the beginning, I said, hold on a second, this doesn't seem right. Is this like a good guys version or the good guys movie? Are they trying to slowly like show people? Is it a reveal? And then I watched the movie, and there were so many things that happened in the movie that I just couldn't believe it. They were showing us, they were revealing to us our reality and what has been done to us for thousands and thousands of years in this movie in so many different ways that I was like, this has to be a good guys operation, because it's incredible what they were showing. And so I highly encourage everybody to watch it and give your opinion. Tell me what you think. But I've never seen something with that many suggestions, that many visuals, and that many clues as to what is actually occurring and how they do it, the different mechanisms. I mean, there's so much symbolism in it. I know you haven't seen it yet. So, and I want to be very careful about what I say, because I don't want to ruin the movie for anybody.
No spoiler words. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got to see it. You have to see it.
Well, okay, so I haven't seen it. The kids absolutely want to see it. This was supposed to come out last year at the same time as Wonder Woman. I have 3 girls. They wanted to see Wonder Woman. That one came out. It was kind of like, it wasn't that good. And so we were waiting for this one. So I haven't seen it yet. And now just talking to you, I'm even more excited. And the reason I bring this up is for the audience watching the show, you guys have probably seen episode 12 of the PPV with Janine last week. And we talked about this movie here, Tomorrow War. And much to our surprise, as we were pulling cards, this too was a white hat operation. There is a lot in there. And it's quite fascinating now hearing from SHERRI, her experience here watching Black Widow and seeing some of the same things. Now, without getting into detail, let's give them at least one, and I'm going to try to word this carefully so that we don't get in trouble. But in Black Widow, what SHERRI just told me is that at some point they make reference to a very, very prominent political figure from the past, not too long ago, but from the past, who apparently in the show is being divulged as being part of trafficking of little people. So for a lot of people, that was like, whoa, did they just say who we just think they said? And so the answer to that is yes. So that's absolutely incredible. Now, of course, people will say, oh, JC, okay, you guys are always, smoking hopium. This is just a movie. Nothing's happening, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. Let's get into the fighting wars. And the dreamscape. Janine and I have been getting a lot of these emails where people are saying, man, in the last week, 2 weeks now, maybe max, we've been fighting, having these weird dreams, and we're all being called to like get on the front lines. Have you felt any of that? Or are you doing work with some of your clients who are also like all, kind of disheveled in the morning, waking up and saying, what the hell was that? Can you speak to that, Sherri?
Yeah. I mean, so personally, I don't sleep anymore. I haven't slept in a long time. And I don't even know how to experience it. Or I'm sorry, I don't know how to describe it into words. It's kind of, it's weird, but it's multidimensional, that I can feel myself in different places all at the same time when I'm sleeping, and I'm having conversations, and I'm having like these crazy epiphanies, and I can see myself working things out with people in a multidimensional level. And then when I wake up, I don't always remember it, but it's clear to me that it was significant in some way. And I know a lot of my clients who are waking up with aches and pains, and they feel like I've been fighting all night, and they're having dreams of fighting. So the spectrum is there's a wide range of it. So from simply not remembering, but feeling tired and aches and pains, like you're not fully restful. I don't have the fighting dreams as much. I don't feel like I'm such a warrior in that regard. I feel like I'm like more of a problem solver and like a spiritual warrior.
Right.
I like, Michael Jaco and all of those, that secret space program. I think that's incredible. I don't feel like that's me. But I feel like it's a whole other level of spiritual fighting, but not fighting. What's a better word for that? Spiritual.
You're being more tactical behind the scenes, maybe.
Yeah,
Right.
That's what I experience. But a lot of my clients are very like, I feel like I'm fighting. I wake up, my back hurts, my knee hurts, they actually will have sores on their body, and I'm like, man, you got to be part of some secret space program or something like that, because there's no explanation for it, right? So I've seen it, I've experienced it, and a lot of my clients are also experiencing it as well, for sure.
Wow. Well, perhaps there is an explanation for it. Again, folks, if you haven't seen this movie, we won't give you any spoilers here, but absolutely fascinating. What I can say, the premise of the movie, if you haven't seen it so far, is that Chris Pratt here, the main character, is recalled to duty. He's an ex-military guy, teacher, and he's recalled to go do basically a 7-day tour into the future. So basically humans are fighting ETs in the future. This is in the trailer, so there's no spoilers here. And they come back to tell humans in this time frame that they're fighting over there and they're losing. And so we need people to go fight this temporal war, so to speak. And for me, this was very triggering, because at one point he has to explain to his daughter that he's going on this 7-day tour of duty here. And again, I don't want to give you guys any spoilers, but anyways, the relationship between him and his daughter, and the temporal relationship, I'll say it that way, was struck me with my oldest daughter as well. So there's so many things. As we were watching the movie, Sarah and I were just like, whoa, are we living this? Are we watching this? What the hell's happening with this movie? We had to pause and look at each other. It's like, wait, what? Did you see that? Do you remember seeing that before? Like, not in this world, but like, so they captured a few things in this movie that are absolutely, I think, real. And Michael Jaco and I talked about this last week too. And he says, oh yeah, there's a few scenes in there that look oddly familiar to him as well. So fabulous things. Yeah. What do you say then? Okay, let's give the audience here maybe a little bit of advice on how to deal with the after effects of maybe these fighting dreams, the bruisings, but maybe not so much on the physical level, but on the energy body. What's happening there, and what are you doing with your clients there to help them out? Because what we're hearing here is that we're not done. Maybe at 80% is what Janine was saying yesterday in her last episode, but we still have something to do here. So this is not over, and we're all being called to hold the line, hold the line, hold the line. So how do we empower those people on the line right now, energetically speaking?
Yeah, good question. I mean, it's about spending your wake hours, the times that count, that you're in control of, that you remember, that you're conscious of, in a positive mindset. Doing things that bring you joy or peace or healing, exercising, meditation, using crystals, eating well, getting people out of. This is a huge one. Clear out the people out of your life that are not serving your highest good. Are they bringing you down? We were talking about this before. If you suddenly find that the podcasters or the people, the public figures, or even the podcasters, the spiritual people, whoever, the healers that you have found yourself watching for a long time now, are suddenly very dark or very negative, that bring you down. When you watch these things, it's not like we want to spread hopium all the time. We talk about real things. But if you find yourself feeling very low, your vibration drop after you watch somebody, like an interview like this, if I bring you down, then don't watch me, right? Now, that's not my agenda, and it never has been. I try to bring people up. But if you find that the people you're watching are suddenly very, very grim, their outlook has shifted, then you need to maybe reevaluate whether or not you want to follow them anymore. It doesn't mean that they have gone to the dark side, or it doesn't mean that they're horrible people all of a sudden. It just means that the message that they're spreading has shifted in a way that doesn't resonate or align with your highest good, in order to keep your vibration up high. So it's time to maybe transition to someone else, or just stop watching that person, stop watching the programs. If we could pivot back just for a second, there's something I did want to talk about in the Black Widow movie that was significant, was the mind control, that the methods of which they mind control people in a massive way through the television and cartoons. So for children, it's cartoons, and for adults, it's Netflix or whatever programming, Prime, whatever. I'm not calling out Netflix only, just any television programming, movies, any of that. It's designed to bring you into a hypnotic state. I mean, I'm sure everybody watching this has had a day off, has laid down on the couch and just said, I'm going to watch one episode of some show. And then next thing you know, 5 hours have gone by. You haven't gotten up, and you literally feel like you say to yourself, "I can't get up." Right. And this is an example of what mind control is, because you literally cannot get up, because you have been brought down to a deep level of hypnotic state where you physically cannot get up. Your vibration has dropped because electromagnetic frequencies come out of the TV. And it's a proven fact. It's not hocus pocus. It's not a conspiracy. We all know it to be truth. And that's how they use it as a mechanism for mind control. And I even had a session recently with a girl that told me, a girl with ADHD, she was 5 years old. Okay, so I communicated with her soul, who told me that the level of, now this is not proven, so what I'm saying right now, just take it with a grain of salt. But she informed me that the level of radiation that comes off these electromagnetic frequency waves from our TV, our cell phone, the towers outside, the electricity, all of that is way higher than we are informed of. And our government is fully aware of the toxic levels of which we are exposed to. I did not know that. I'm only talking about it publicly to let you know what I was told, but I don't know how true it is. But why would why would she tell me that? It was more to inform us that we have a choice to decide if we're going to watch these programs. We can decide if we're going to have the TVs in our home, or how long we're going to watch them. But it's scary to think about the fact that if you're laying, Netflix and chill, or all of these veg out in front of the TV, all these terms that have been, that we have created over time, is for a reason, because your brain waves are literally at a state of hypnosis. That are either theta or delta waves, brain waves, which is literally like you're comatose, like you physically cannot move your body. And that's an issue, and that people need to be aware of. And it lowers your vibration. It's designed to do that and to keep you in a low vibration, so that you're not motivated to get off the couch. You're not motivated on your day off to go outside and go for a walk, or maybe go out to dinner with friends or things like that. It's designed to keep you hooked. And in Black Widow, the movie, they didn't go into as much depth as I just did, but it was very clear how that is one form of mind control that they use when they showed these children sitting in front of, these TV screens, watching cartoons, sipping on their juice boxes, just flashes of lights and frequencies going at them, just programming them with their subliminal messages and all of that. And so that's a really important aspect of our reality that we can control. And so, that's one thing that we can do in our waking hours is, if you don't want to give up the TV, but just limit the amount of time. That happens to me sometimes. I have my day off and my kids are gone for something and I have some time and I just want to watch one show. And if I feel myself getting into that state where I'm like, oh, just one more, you know what I do? I literally will grab the remote. I turn the TV off. I turn it off and I get up and I make myself walk out of the room because I know that one show will turn into two because I'm just as vulnerable as anybody else if they could put me in. But I'm aware of it. So the difference is I'm consciously aware of the manipulation tactics. So I cut it off. But not everybody is.
Well, I have to bring up a few things you just said there. Absolutely mind-boggling. So first, let me see if I can bring this poster back up. Hold on a second. This one here, Beyond Disclosure with Dr. Richard Allen Miller. He is an amazing scientist, absolutely crazy guy, like fabulous guy, like to listen to. He knows so much and he's worked on so many Black projects in his life, including one where he told me about exactly what you were saying now. Back in the 70s, they were part of experiments on using colors, flashing colors on the TV to control people. They got it to the point that they can flash a series of colors and make a grown man pee his pants, like involuntarily pee his pants. So I was like, wow, that was in the 70s. Imagine what they're doing through the bandwidth today on the TVs with all of the technology, the cell phone, as you're saying, everything that's the high level of toxicity that's coming up in these waves of energy, EMFs, and you can feel it. Like, I don't need to read the scientific review to agree if what you said was true or not, but I definitely feel a difference where I am. I'm in the country. I'm far from any towers. As soon as I go into town, Sarah and I are looking like, what's that? There's like a dread factor. You could just feel it. It's just everywhere. It's like this fog or this weird soup of shit. I don't know how else to call it. And you feel it right away. As soon as you hit it, the first 2-3 intersections before we get into town, you can feel something that's different. So anyways, so there's that. So this episode with Doc Ram was very interesting because he talked about this mind programming stuff. And he says, of course, they call it TV programming for a reason. So I agree with you on there. The thing is, though, what you're saying, too, you're talking about an actual TV set in your house, I'm assuming, from what you were just saying. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. We don't have any TV anymore. Since 2009, I got rid of all the TVs in the house. So
it could also be the phone or the tablets. They made TikTok for a reason. TikTok's the same thing. You get into time warp and you watch 100 videos.
Oh, absolutely. No, I agree with you on that. But I wanted to add what something Doc Ram said. Of course, you'll get that same weird programming coming from your laptop, watching Netflix and all of that. But the TV, especially the smart TVs, it's emitting that wave even when it's turned off now.
Oh,
so
yeah.
You literally have to plug it out of the wall. You can't just power it off with the remote anymore. That's how crazy that frequency is pervasive, as you were just saying. So, absolutely. So these are all little things you could do to try to reduce that stress on your body. Absolutely incredible. Now, you talked about one of the good examples you said here to maybe do the things that you can personally do is cut out people in your life that are negative. And you and I were just saying that just before the show. Quite a few YouTubers in the last week or two just suddenly turned the whole channel and they're in this massive fear porn thing. And like you just said, doesn't mean they're bad people, but they might have just been triggered also to that frequency for some reason. And now they're repeaters of that frequency. Why? It's because we're in this war, and we're in this war for all of the minds that were originally captured from this matrix, who are now freeing this matrix of control. And so that matrix wants it back. So on one hand, it's deleting people like us here, and on the other hand, it's putting out fear porn again, so that those people who are wobbling a little bit watching some of the stuff that they're seeing here on YouTube, on BitChute and all that, might say, ooh, this is maybe too much to me, too much fear porn. I'll go back to watching my 6 o'clock news. That's safe. I'm used to that. What are your thoughts on this whole idea that we're fighting for the minds of these people who were captured by that matrix and who are now suddenly, whether because the matrix is losing control or whether because humans, as you say, are waking up by themselves right now? What's happening? What would be, if you were to put your finger on that pulse right now, where are we in capturing or recapturing those minds that were stuck in the matrix?
Yeah, well, I think the Matrix is losing control because of the mass population is starting to wake up, and that's the key. That's the key point there. I mean, I can't tell you how many emails that I get. I can't keep up with them. So, for those of you watching, I haven't gotten back to you yet. I apologize. I can't keep up with them. Is there a
There's no echo. Keep going. It sounds good from here. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And so I get emails every day from people saying, I woke up within the last week, 2 days ago. I woke up this morning. No, but, people are waking up every single day, and every single day, and every single person counts, because what happens is when they wake up, their vibration starts to rise slowly. And the more they wake up, the more their vibration rises, and it contributes to the collective consciousness, because we all send out a signal, just like our phones emit a signal, just like internet. It's all about signals. But for us, it's an energy wave. It's a vibration. So every one of us, that whatever vibration we're in, we have a ripple effect, and that ripple effect goes into the mass collective consciousness, and it either contributes in a positive way, a neutral way, or a negative way. Most children and light workers are going to be in a positive way. Most people who are not sure, but kind of on either side of the fence right now, are in a neutral. And then the ones that are in the 3D, or those contributing to the fear porn and the negative side, are going to contribute in a negative way. So this is essentially a spiritual battle, which everyone has been talking about. So it's not my term. But when we have more people go to the positive side, the ripple effect that goes into the collective consciousness raises us collectively into a higher a higher consciousness, rather, and the light spreads. I always, to date myself and you and others watching, I used to give the metaphor of the light brights that we had back in like the 70s and the 80s that kids played with. And you put the little lights in, and you made little, the screen is black, and the lights, you can make designs with whatever it is that you're creating. So if you think about each person in the world that but my light bright is all white. So all the lights are white. Okay. So each person is a light bright on that. And every one of us that raises our vibration, that wakes up, whether it's today or 25 years ago or everything in between, you're contributing to one of the lights on the light bright of the matrix being on. And the more of it that's on, the less power that the dark forces or the negative energy, whatever you want to call it, has control over us. And so that's when you phrase the question, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? I believe that they're losing power because our light bright is getting brighter every single day, and the more bright it gets, the stronger we all get collectively, because we link with each other when we are in a high vibration and we have our light on. Whether we know it or not, we are all linking together in a positive way, and they're losing control of us, and that's why they get desperate. And when they get desperate, they put out more fear. They put more things out to make us scared or angry or turn on each other, which is what a lot of these movements are, that I'm not going to say any specific because I don't want to get hate mail. Right. But they put all this stuff out there so that we pick on each other and we fight against each other, so that our lights go off. When we start fighting and our vibration goes down, our lights cannot go back off. And then it's constantly on, off, on, off, on, off. Right. Hopefully this is making sense. But I believe that they're losing control because we are all tapping in, and so many people are waking up every single day. And if it takes a movie like Black Widow, for instance, or Tomorrow's War, right, or what's another one that was really disgusting recently that I heard about, something Sweet Tooth, about the kids, the hybrid children.
Oh yeah, the hybrid children, Sweet Tooth.
Yeah, it's like trying to expose us to that reality, like whatever it is, that whether it's something like that or a podcast or whatever is waking people up, it doesn't matter, because as long as their light starts to turn on and they continue in that direction of finding the truth, then we will collectively get there much faster, which is what I refer to as the timeline. The speed of the timeline, it goes up, it accelerates. And that is what the delay is. The delay has been for so many eons of time. All the beautiful volunteers, the light workers that came in, that Dolores Cannon referred to as the 3 waves, or even before the 3 waves started coming in. They came in a period of time where the collective consciousness of humanity wasn't evolved enough. They weren't ready to hear it. It wasn't time yet. Whereas now it is. And so it's such a beautiful time for us all to be alive. And it doesn't really matter how we get there, how our light turns on. It just matters of how many of our lights are on, so that we can speed up the process, speed up this timeline. So I don't even remember where I was going with that.
No, that's great. You talked about this light analogy, and I want to back you up there too, because in some of my shows last year, we started talking about Kundalini and how we as humans are emitting this frequency wave, as you were saying here too, and perhaps why the powers that be are also trying to separate us 6 feet apart, because there is something happening within arm's length to each other. We transmit data much, much faster when we're that close. So when we're in the crowd and we are tight knit as well, we were sending that scalar wave, for lack of better terms, I think is what Carrie Cassidy called it. And they're also trying to prevent that. And I agree with what you're saying. The more this light is getting brighter, the weaker the matrix of control is getting. This is why also they're trying to implement this new matrix of control, which we don't need to get into here with this software upgrade that they're trying to give everyone here to plug into that matrix. Yeah. That's a whole other topic. But you said something else earlier about the matrix of control. The light. Oh yeah. So as we raise our frequency too, I think what's important for the people to understand is that is also souring the milk, so to speak. So if you understand that we live in this energy extraction matrix, as soon as you come up to a certain degree, you're not tasty to them anymore. They want the anger, the despair, the fear, all of this stuff. That's what they like to feed on. When you're all smiling and giggly, and people bitch at me sometimes because I smile too much on my show. There's a reason. I smile a lot on my show. I'm trying to raise the frequency because sometimes we talk about some harder stuff. So anyways, I love what you're saying here. And I think for a lot of people, it's going to make it clear. And I was trying to find a picture of an LED panel with just the white light panels to show the audience what you're talking about. But people can see the light bright. And when you said that, I absolutely loved that when I was a kid. I played with that for a long time. That was cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you talked about also, I talked briefly about some of the YouTubers who just went dark in the last week or so. By dark, I mean not that they closed their channel, but that they just kind of like went to the dark side for some reason here. And I don't want to name names. It's not about that. Again, my heart goes up to them. And for everyone watching the show too, try to pull them back. Try to pull them back on this side too. And everybody's free will. I understand that too. But invite them, be compassionate. Maybe something happened in their life and it's like a series of events that suddenly they're just shaken in their beliefs, or they're just shaken in their understanding of where they are. And this is why they're acting the way they are now. So compassion for everyone. But, keep your arms open to get them back here, because this is the fight for especially those neutral people that you just talked about. Maybe the negative stuff we can't really do anymore. Like, we're at the late hour of this fight here, but at least those neutral people, we can still maybe sway them back. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think the neutral people are very like on the cusp, on the edge of joining the positive side. They're just unsure yet. And those are the people that are the most vulnerable, unfortunately. Those are the people that email me and they're in desperation. Or they say, I hate when people use the word, I'm desperate to find, because when you're desperate to find, you're in a low vibration, and when you're desperate, your vibration ripples out desperation. And that's what you attract back. So you're likely to attract healers or light workers that are false, or false prophets historically, or those or they will listen to the big name people who are saying things that are scaring people, or making them rethink everything. Every single time, when I listen to podcasts, my special time every day is when I go for a run. That's my meditation, and that's when I like to listen to podcasts. And in the moment that I hear anybody say anything that goes against my resonance, or I just I don't believe what they're saying, and not because I'm judging them or I'm not going to believe. It's their tone when it shifts to a negative aspect, that fear coming in, where they start to change. You could say it's like a slow, subtle shift in their voice and the message they're giving, so that they can slowly, they don't want to scare people off. So they're going to be careful about the way they do it. But when they start speaking in a way that it's like a red flag, I don't care whose channel they're on or who it is. I'll just turn it off. I stop watching it. So I encourage anybody, if you have, invested a lot of your time and energy into somebody and they turn you off, it's okay to walk away. You're not, they don't know personally that you clicked the off button. They're not going to get a message saying, you stopped listening to me. And that way you can solidify your empowerment by choosing not to listen to it. Because right now we're so, okay. we talk about quantum healing, right? And that's the name that you gave the interview for myself, and that's the word I use when I do my healing. It's a quantum level of healing. So Reiki is a sliver or an aspect of energy healing, but at the end of the day, this is a multi-dimensional universe that we're living in, and we have densities, and we shift, and our vibration shifts, our frequency shifts. We're ever changing, and it's this evolutionary process is different for every single person. So right now, in this quantum field, I want people to recognize that when I do work with my clients, and anybody that comes to see me or through Skype or whatever has a healing with me, we're looking at those multidimensional aspects of people, because right now, those that are neutral and those that are awake and positive, right? We are all in the process of either reprogramming and deprogramming. And we need to do that not only on the cellular level, which is what I work from on the cellular level. So the physical, the cells of my body that are replicating at the vibration that I'm at, which will either keep me balanced and at peace, or will either cause disease and illness, right? So what vibration we are at, our cells will regenerate at that vibration, and then everything else follows, all the way to a quantum multi-dimensional aspect of our metaphysical body and everything in between. So when I'm working with people, I am working with them at the cellular level, all the way to the multi-dimensional level and everything in between. And I don't want anybody watching this thinking, well, I have to work, she's saying I have to work with her to heal myself. Absolutely not. Nobody here has to work with me. All you have to recognize is that you are in control of your healing if you think about it in a quantum field, by the way you think, your intention, your words, your thoughts. You have to reprogram yourself through your and deprogram yourself to a cellular level and all the way up to a metaphysical level. So it's through your thoughts, instead of saying, oh, I'm going to get, COVID, or, all those people who brought COVID to themselves. And I don't mean, the people who are tricked into getting it, or that's a whole nother thing. Let's take COVID out, because I don't want people to get upset. Let's take cancer. I'm going to get cancer. I know I'm going to get it. My grandmother had it. My this had it. If you keep saying that, you're going to program your cells to get cancer. That's the vibration you're programming your body at. So right now we're in a very vulnerable place, state of mind, state of being, as our soul is trying to transcend and to evolve out of this third density matrix into a fifth density and higher, where we thrive. That it's very important how we program ourselves by our thoughts, by what we attract, by what we think, and what we say. All of that has an energy aspect to it. So if you say to yourself every day, I am healthy, I am vibrant, I am abundant, my body is healthy, my body is thriving, I attract abundance into my life, I attract joy and love, whatever it is that comes into your mind, and you breathe and you say, anything that's not of my highest good, any energy in my field that is not of my highest good, I choose at this time to release it. And you do breath work every single day. It's the easiest thing anyone can do. I do it. I teach it. I teach it to children. I teach it to elderly and everyone in between. Every single day, if you do that and you release that energy that is stored up within you, and you reprogram your cells, because you have to also reprogram the cells that you tell it through hypnosis. So through self-hypnosis, I am healthy, I am vibrant. If you had some sort of issue with your bladder, my bladder is healthy, my bladder is vibrant. Whatever you want to say, however specific you want to get, this is quantum healing, and everybody has to. We should have been taught this in elementary school, which we could talk about how I'm trying my best to shift the education system in the core curriculum of what our children are learning, and I'm putting together an entire business plan to about what that should look like. But for those of us that weren't taught that and don't know how, I'm trying my best to teach people that you can do it yourself. You don't need anybody to help you with it. Now, it's nice to have somebody, like myself or the million other healers out there to get you going, to help you figure out what to do. But ultimately, at the end of the day, everyone is healing themselves. It's your body, your vibration shifting around, your thoughts, what you attract, what you want, all of those things. So that's really what quantum healing is about. And that is, in this moment, the most important thing that anybody watching this should understand, or should do, or should shift their life around, is healing themselves on a quantum level. Because that is where we thrive. And that is where we will all heal.
Priority number one.
Priority
Absolutely.
number one.
I love it. Okay, you said two things here I want to backtrack on. The words you entertain, the thoughts you entertain. Again, here in my last show, or my second last show with Dr. Richard Allen Miller, he talked about how some of these secret societies around the world teach their disciples, and these are the people who eventually run the planet and run it amok. So we just understand where that's coming from. But they know, and they teach their children that they are responsible for the thoughts they entertain, right? So they're entertaining the thoughts of having control and power over others, and they multiply that thought. Now, if that works for them, then clearly it should work also on the other side, and much faster on the white side. When we were talking about just what you just said now, I'm healthy, I'm happy, I'm prosperous, I'm abundant, I'm loving, I love myself, I love you. Like, these are all frequencies that you have access to if only you would program yourself to entertain those thoughts in a very conscious manner. And that's what Sherri's talking about here, and making it accessible for all of you, not just the secret society school. So
yes, exactly.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You said something else too here. And again, I'm being careful here because we're talking to, and this is why I'm fighting here still on YouTube, even after I've been deleted quite a few times. This is where some of the people who are in the neutral camp, they're not sure, they're listening to all of this. They might think we're crazy some days. Some other days they're like, oh yeah, I kind of get what JC's saying. Some other days like, oh, JC, you're a little too woo-woo for me. So I'm going to talk to them for a little bit here. I'm going to ask you a specific question. You just said that we're in this process now. It's important, priority number one, to heal ourselves at the quantum level, because we're transitioning or transcending from 3D to 5D. And for a lot of people who are just getting into this, it's like, wait, what happened to 4? Why didn't you mention 4, Sherri? So let's talk about what's in 4 and why we're doing this transition from 3 to 5 as opposed to going through 4.
Yeah.
And again, without dropping too much of the frequency here, because this is a little bit darker, but people need to understand the process so that they see the path in front of them.
Yeah, no, this is a great question. I did a podcast, an interview just the other night, and we talked about this. And it is important to understand. So 3D is what we fell into. I want you to understand, yeah, Carly and Julia, we have fallen into 3D. Okay, we were never meant to be in 3D. It's just huh?
I said exactly. Keep going. Sorry. There's a little
Sorry.
bit of noise. I think we have echo now again, but we have a thunderstorm here, so it could be my connection. So I apologize.
Okay.
But keep going.
Okay. So we've never meant to be in 3D. It's an unfortunate thing that happened with all of the dark forces, all of that. Everyone knows. I don't need to explain it.
Right.
So as we shift into 5D, as the Earth, as the collective consciousness first has reached a point in which the Earth, Mother Earth herself, can shift into 5th dimension. So we had to be in a place where she could support us in a higher frequency because of all the weight. Think about how heavy 3D is and how much Mother Earth is suffering. All the animals that have left the Earth plane. You know, I work a lot with the animal kingdom, and a lot of them left on their free will because they didn't want to be here anymore. And the good news is in 5D, I know a lot of them are coming back, which is really cool for all the animal lovers out there. But we have to pass through 4D in order to get to 5D. So for all of those people who are neutral or who are newly waking up, or those that are also light workers and perhaps have fallen back due to life traumas and things like that, 4D is a transitional space. So it's where we do the work, the healing. You know, that's where we heal ourselves. That's where we learn compassion and empathy for others. That's where we thrive and heal collectively together as humanity, where we build bridges as opposed to building walls. We connect. That's what a lot of the New Earth children are here to do. They're here to show us that there are no boundaries. So it's all about the space and time of which you work on yourself. You work on your own healing. If everybody could just take responsibility for healing themselves instead of worrying what their neighbor's doing or what this person's doing and just focus on themselves, then we can all get to a place where we can get to 5D faster. But 4D is really a place where that in between, where we work on ourselves, and it's very uncomfortable, and it's hard, and we cry, and it hurts physically, it hurts emotionally. We have to bring up some of those old wounds. It's the inner child work that we do. It's the forgiveness is the one that the biggest hiccup most people that I work with, that my clients have, is forgiveness. They cannot, no matter what, forgive this person for what they did to them. And I don't care if it was 30 years ago when I was 7 years old or whatever, they can't forgive. And that binds you down to 3D, because in 5D, we do forgive. We have the ability to transmute the anger and the guilt and the worry and the resentment and the sadness, anger, all of it. And so 4D is a process. 4D is a process in our evolution of all of those thousands of generational years, linear years of struggle and trauma, and all the karma and the contracts and the cell memory and the negative entities and the cords. All of that lives within the 3D space. And as 4D, as we go through 4D and we start to heal ourselves, clear the karma, clear the contracts, forgive all of those things, then we can anchor into 5D, and then we can be where we were supposed to be before all of the events took place. So that's the best way I can describe it. So people always ask me, how do I know if I'm in 3D, 4D, or 5D? So if you're even asking the question, you're likely at least in 4D, because 3D people don't even ask. They don't care. They don't believe in it. They're not even going to engage in the conversation. They're not going to watch any of the podcasts because CNN is their news source and all of those things, right? So 4D is likely where a majority of people who are at least awake enough are at. And then 5D or 4D to 5D is just about how you live your life, what your thoughts are. I used the example the other night of a client that I had I said, you're transitioning into 5D. He said, well, what about when I get angry at people? I went to dinner the other night. This waitress was awful. She really made me so upset, and I just wanted to yell at her. And it was this whole thing, right? And I said to him, well, you're still human, and we're allowed to have our emotional reactions to circumstances. It is what it is. That is our uniqueness of being a human, is the array of emotions that we can have. But it's all about what you do with that. What happens next? I said, did you yell at the waitress? No. Okay. Did you get into an argument? And did that lady make you so mad that you got into an argument with your wife, took it out on her? No. Did you go on your ride home? You were still so angry and you had road rage and you were cutting people off. Okay. Well, no. Okay. Well, when you went home, did you wake up the next morning still upset? Well, no. Okay. So that is a perfect example of somebody transitioning from 4 to 5D. Had you had the other reactions where it snowballed into fighting with your wife, or getting angry on the road, or waking up the next day angry, and then all of the ripple effects that happen after that, that can happen after that, that's a 3D construct. That is what we're trying to break free of. So it's all about your reaction to things, your ability to forgive, your ability to not really react to things in a negative way anymore. It's a complete lifestyle change. It's a complete lifestyle shift. And it's an awareness and a mindfulness of your emotions, how you affect others, how you react to certain circumstances, and then how you transmute the energy, the emotional energy. That is key.
Okay. Let's talk about quickly here, again, without dipping too low in the frequency, what are the traps and who are the traps perhaps in the 4D trying to prevent you from going from that 3D to 5D? And how do you recognize them in your surroundings, in your family, in your friends? How do you deal with them so that you stay on your path during this difficult time? Because as you said, going through that, you have to go through all of these core wounds, the child wounds. We've talked about this in the first episode, so people can go and watch that on your channel, because mine was deleted. So let me bring that back up. But let's talk about that very quickly here. What's in 4D, and what are some of the traps there that people should avoid?
Well, it's all the disinformation out there. The big ones are the mainstream media. That's number one trap. That's trap number one. It's all the dogma. It's all the programming that we learned in school, and all the lies in the history books. I mean, all of that is the programming and the disinformation. And so I teach people, number one, as you heal yourself and you start to become aware, your vibration starts to rise, your radar or your discernment becomes heightened. And that's when when somebody is full of crap, or if they are speaking truth. So everybody watching me right now, if they took a moment to close their eyes and listen to me speak, how am I making you feel? Am I making you feel uplifted? Am I making you feel hopeful? Am I making you feel like, gosh, I feel empowered, I can do anything? Or am I making you feel low? Am I making you feel like you don't have power, or like you can't do anything? And I'm saying, use this example for anybody, not just me. And if you close your eyes, you are easily able to tap into your higher senses. And so you take off the visual aspect of it, and you have to use the heart space. You have to use the other clairs that you have, your clairvoyance, your clairaudient, all of that, to discern how somebody is making you feel. How are you triggered by other people? The things that you're hearing, the movies you're watching, the books you're reading, even family. You know, one of the biggest challenges that I am helping people work through right now, and this is a loose statistic, but I would say more than half of the marriages that I am working with one or the other spouse right now in the last year is so heavily on the rocks because one spouse has woken up, the other has not, and they are every single day they are falling further apart, or they are merging further apart, and they don't know what to do, and they're desperate. And I'm generally working with the spouse that's the awake one, otherwise they wouldn't be calling out to me to help them. And the issue with that is that the resonance has shifted. So your spouse's vibration has remained low in 3D. Yours was in 3D once. It starts to go up. You start to wake up. You have your spiritual awakening. You start to blossom. You start to shift in your awareness. Your what you enjoy shifts. What you attract, what you like to do shifts. Everything shifts, and you start to look at the other person, not that they're bad or anything's wrong, but it's a different resonance, and you recognize that, and you don't have anything in common anymore, and you are finding it very difficult to be with that person. And I have people say, what on earth do I do? Because it's only getting worse. You know, and I'm not going to give the answers to those people, because ultimately I teach them, I coach them on mechanisms to try to navigate through that, and it's different for everybody. So there isn't no blanket one way. But the point is that this is happening with siblings, spouses, family members, parents and children, friends, neighbors, co-workers, on every level of every facet of our life. And that's the sleep negatives, or the neutrals, and the light workers, and those that are awake. And that's what's this 4D that you're talking about is it may not even be mainstream media. It could be your parent. How many people have I talked to who are grandparents who are not allowed to see their grandchildren because they voted for, you know, Mr. T or whatever, or they are talking about child, you know, things. Have to dance around the words. So it's not always somebody in a public. It's not always a public figure. It could be somebody that you're in the same house with, and that is the biggest struggle right now of this whole 3D, 4D, 5D construct. Is the fact that we are surrounded by everybody in all aspects of our lives. And that makes it the most challenging, because those that are newly awakened or are starting to wake up are falling back into 3D because they feel like they're drowning in their environment of the negativity, or they're being outcasted as the only ones not wanting to get things in their arm or wear things on their face. And they're being ostracized over it. And that is the biggest challenge, in my opinion, are the people that you are the closest to in your life, because they affect you the most, because they're around you the most. Right. And that is our biggest struggle, I think, right now.
Oh, I agree. And what you just said about relationships, like Sarah and I too, like we see our friends around, and I was like, oh my God, if, you know, one parent's awake and the other one's not, it's just crazy. Yeah. It was crazy 5 years ago, but now the level of divide is so huge. I agree with you, and thank you for doing all that help to try to bridge that gap between these people now. And again, use compassion and find their own personal way back there in that connection. That's absolutely hard work. Now, in the chat, you asked earlier, how do I make you feel if you're listening to my voice? Everyone's like $1 million. Uplifted. So you had a lot of great compliments there. So absolutely beautiful. And one thing that I'm seeing in the chat too is everybody loves the way you explain things. And of course, this is why we're so excited that you can also teach our children. You make it accessible for everyone. And so let me just bring this one back up, folks. If you haven't seen this episode, this is the first one we did. It's no longer on my channel, but it's on Sherri's channel. So this is the link to Sherri's channel to go see that episode. She did go into some of the things we're going into today, but maybe in a different perspective. So if you are hungry for more of that information, go check it out there. And again, I just put the link here in the chat below. Now, going back to teaching children, when you were last on the show, you talked about this new animated series that you were excited about, and now suddenly there's a little bit of a holdback or a pitfall. And again, it has to do with this divide right now, and this weird state of things on the planet. Explain to people what's happening with the animation project and why you feel we are all in this war for this information at every level, and it's touching you even here at the animated level.
Yeah. This is a very dear project to me, and it's such, I don't even want to get emotional just thinking about it, but this is something really important to me, and it's for the kids. I wanted to create a cartoon or an animated mechanism for children to watch short videos to learn about things that they're not taught in school. And I have an amazing artist in Florida, Cami DeMario, just giving her a shout out. And we decided to create this together. And, I've paid, this is out of my own money. And Cami has donated her own time and effort to create the characters and the visual aspect of it. And so we created the first two, which we've had huge, great feedback, and a lot of children are over the moon about it. They're learning things. And I recently wrote the third and the fourth script, and we sent it off to the animator. And I'm not going to say anything about this animator because they're, we all are at a place in our development, in our spiritual development, where we can decide whether or not we want to do things and what path we're going to choose. And let's just say we had creative differences, and they refused to work with us anymore. Because of our creative differences and the content of which I was trying to put out there. So we have lost that animator, and I am devastated because I already had the third and fourth ready to go. I'm paying for this out of my own pocket. Cami is donating her beautiful artwork, and we are desperately just trying to get this going. And it's heartbreaking because we had this trajectory going, and it was going so well, and we've hit a huge roadblock. So if anybody is watching this, is an animator or knows an animator or somebody that would like to work with us, I would love to find, an ethical, great spirited group of people who are, that are willing to help us spearhead this, because we would like to create an animated film eventually, where we put all of these short films together to make one large one. We have books coming. We want books to come out. So this is a huge thing. This wasn't just a fun project that we were creating. This is for the children. And so I just want to put it out there that if anyone knows anyone, or anybody's watching this, or if anybody, would like to support us monetarily so that we could, because the problem is that a lot of the higher quality animators are very expensive. So we were getting an extremely great deal on this. And now it's going to be triple the cost likely. So any help that we can get, we would be very appreciative. If anybody would like to reach out to me, if you know anybody to help support us.
Okay, let's be precise. How do people reach out for you if they know an animator, or if they are animators and they want to help on this project? Do we direct them to your website, to a specific, what's the best way for them to contact you, Sherri?
Yeah, you could put it in the description. It's sherri@intuitivewellnesscenter.com. If you don't want to write it down and you forget, you could just go on my website, and the contact form will come directly to me. This is the children's one. Either one of those will get to me because I receive all the emails.
Okay, very good. And you said, let me just put that in the chat as well. Copy.
Yeah.
Sherri. Okay, did that not work? Hold on a second here. Okay, guys, what I'm going to do, I'm going to edit the description of this video. In there now, there's her YouTube channel and also her website, and I'm going to include, do you want me to put the email in the description, Sherri? Does that work?
Yeah, you could do that. It's just sherri@intuitivewellnesscenter.com, yeah.
Okay, so there you go. Okay, so folks, if you're watching this on replay, you'll be able to see this also in the description box below. And let me bring that back up to the screen for everyone else as well. So copy and paste and then save here. All right, we're doing this live. Okay, I want to make sure people can reach out to you and make that happen. And of course, you and I were talking about at the beginning of the show, and you said, oh, JC, I don't know how you do it. You're getting all of these delays and the censorship and all that. I'm like, we're all getting it, and you're getting it in your own way with this weird kind of all of a sudden. Yeah, it's Yeah, and I could feel you're
I
so
was so
passionate about
upset.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was so upset about it. I really was. But again, I transmuted the anger into energy. And
right,
now I'm like, okay, well, there's, things happen for a reason. I also believe that nothing's an accident. So perhaps there's somebody out there better suited to work with us. Maybe we
right,
can even pick up a bigger animator company that has more capabilities. I don't know. The sky's the limit. So, but
right.
I want to get this going because the kids deserve this information out. I could bore them and create my own videos, but it's way more fun for them to see it in a cartoon format. It's going to
Right.
engage them more. And that's what I'm trying to create for them. So,
Absolutely. Okay.
yeah.
So do you have a PayPal account? Can people send you a donation through your PayPal using this address, the Sherry at intuitivewellnesscenter.com, or no?
Yeah. And, if you go on I'm sorry, I have so many websites. So intuitivewellnesscenter.com is for adults. The Divinely Guided Children, one that you were at before, the other
Okay.
one that you were at, on the homepage, there is a PayPal link for people who want to donate to our efforts in creating classes and animation and books. So there is a link already on there to make it simple for people.
Let me see here to make sure. Is this the right one?
Yeah, so on the home, yeah. So if you scroll down, there's a section that says, keep going down. If you want to donate to right
Here
here,
we go.
yeah, you can donate there, and that helps us support
Okay.
our efforts in creating physical locations, more classes, paying teachers, getting supplies, but also the animation as well.
Very good. So I've just placed that link now in the live chat, guys. So all you have to do is click on that and use that directly for Sherry. And let me just add that also to the description box. Why not? I love it. We got to help and stay together. All right, Sherry, we're 56 minutes in.
Oh, really?
It goes so fast. I know. Let's do this again soon. The audience absolutely loves you, and I have a gazillion questions we didn't get to already. But I think this episode was really good already. We got into a lot of things, and right now it's very timely. I saw a few people already in the chat say, "Oh my God, I needed to hear this tonight." So we did what we were supposed to do. So let's maybe use the last 4 minutes here, Sherry. What do you think? What's popping into your field of view, either clairaudient or clairknowing or clairvoyant right now, that you think is important to transmit to the audience here, maybe for the next week or the next 2 weeks here, in trying to hold that line? Again, that's the order of the day here, is hold that frequency, hold that line. What can you tell them?
Yeah, gosh. Time goes by so fast too. It's unbelievable. You blink and it's going to be August, And so,
Right.
Living in the present. Stop holding on to dates and just focus inward. Watch the podcasts, interviews, read books, watch shows that only lift your spirits. Invite only that brings your highest good right now. That's what everyone should be focusing on. Anything less than that, anything that is not of your highest good, that everyone watching this knows what's in their highest good, because it could be different for everybody. We all have different resonance when it comes to that. But it is okay. A lot of people have this guilty mentality that we are taught as a young child, that, oh, it's selfish to take care of myself, and if my family is not awake yet, I feel guilty working on myself. And that's not the case. Right now, we can't control environmentally. It's very difficult, but we cannot control our children, meaning, those that have older children. We can't control them. You can't control your spouse, unfortunately, as much as you want to, or your friends, your neighbors, your coworkers. So the best thing right now is really to just focus on yourself. And it is okay to be selfish right now, in the sense that you're not kicking people to the curb. You're just focusing your attention and your energy back into that heart center to work on yourself, to make that light bright, your light bright, that is unique to you, which is your soul signature, that nobody can dim. No, I don't care who's watching this. There's nobody in this multiverse that can dim your light. You have the power to control your light, and nobody can dim it, no matter what they try to do. So take that power back and turn your light on as bright as it goes, because it will inadvertently affect those around you. I promise you. So instead of fighting and arguing and getting into arguments with your family members, or exhausting your resources by sending them information that they're not going to read, if they're not ready for it, it's just wasting everyone's time, and it's just bringing your vibration down. So instead of that, make your light so bright that it inadvertently will affect them in a positive way, energetically, where it'll imprint on them in a positive way, a positive imprint, not the negative kind, but the positive imprint. Because if everybody in the universe made their bright light bright, it's a tongue twister, made their light so bright,
Right.
we would be able to influence so many people. And the children this is a perfect example of what the New Earth children are doing. They come in and they are so bright that they affect people just by being in their presence, where they have a long lasting effect on people. We can do the same thing. You don't have to be on YouTube with thousands of people watching. You can walk through the grocery store and in your intention, turn that light so bright that you affect somebody's day in a positive way. And you also stand in your own power and not allow anything into your energetic field that is not of your highest good. And the way you get rid of it is through intention and through your breath, and say, at the end of every day, I release all that no longer serves my highest good. You take deep breaths, you hold it, and then you release it and get it out. Get it out of your body, out of your metaphysical body, and take your power back. And I feel like that's the best thing that people can do in the short term right now, because there's so many things going on in our environment that we can't control. But this is something that each one of us watching this is simple and that we can control. And so that is the best advice I could give people in the short term.
Absolutely beautiful, folks. Just rewind 3 minutes, listen to that 3 more times, and you'll be on your way. And folks, I just donated $100 to Sherri here and to the Divinely Guided Children. It's on the screen now. The link is in the description box below and also in the live chat. And I encourage you to be generous. Again, as a father of 3 beautiful daughters here too, I absolutely want to support you in your work, because I think this is absolutely paramount. Our kids are our future, and investing in them at this time right now is absolutely crucial as well. So thank you so much, Sherri, for being here tonight. Absolutely enjoy the show. It goes by too quick every time you're on the show. It's always like that. So we'll schedule something again, maybe in the next 2 weeks or so. We'll try to get back on here and continue this beautiful conversation with you. And folks, I encourage you to go check out Sherri Divband here on YouTube, and also on her intuitivewellnesscenter.com website. And what did I want to say? Oh my God, I just lost it. I had another thought just fleeting.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's been one of the, my mind's all over the place dealing with all this censorship stuff, and I'm rebuilding in the back end. So I'm just like, it's crazy hours here. But anyways, folks, that was the Quantum Healing with Sherri Divband. I'll probably remember as soon as I click the off button. Anyways, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us here tonight. Absolutely love you guys. Thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for supporting our guests. And please do remember here to like, share, and subscribe to our third backup channel. So that's it, folks. That was Quantum Healing. Thank you so much, Sherri, and we'll see you soon. Au revoir.
Thank you, guys.